number one. No delay on these players as we load into Manfield Night, trying to see which of these two playstyles is going to win out in the end.
Yep, of course, SSG coming off a loss against G2, but I mean, who isn't coming off a loss against G2? And OG are looking to go ahead 2-1 in the Swiss.
And this is kind of what I mentioned. This is the first time in Rlcs that JKnaps and Chicago have played against one another, obviously being teammates with each other on G2 for so many seasons across thousands of games. So it's really a interesting thing and such a weird time in RLCS to see kind of those historic rosters finally get shook up.
Yeah, and we were mentioning it previously as well, how, you know, the last time that we saw them play against each other was when JKnaps was on G2 and Chicago was on Evil Geniuses back when they were still in Rocket League. So definitely a historic duo that really put in a lot of time and work. But Nolly is putting in work here, going to be able to get the second touch to open things up for OG.
Love this one on the bounce shot. And that's honestly one of my favorite types of shots to be able to see in the game because it just gets ricocheted. It kind of throws you off. You jump down and you're not able to actually read it in the way that you want. It's a little bit of trickery to open things up, but they all count the same. I like to see it.
So also a quick update to everyone. Shopify and Muffin Men are also going to be on the main stream. That's where Squishy's potential last match is going to be played. So I'm happy, and I wanted to give a shout out to the main Rocket League stream producers for really letting Squishy Muffins have his last day in the limelight.
As we're not sure if that's going to be it, but, you know, not to doubt against
But
at least in more positive news, we do have this game at least. So, you know what? I didn't even start to say it, so I suppose not technically a curse, but it acts the same.
Yep, and even you could see how Nolly landed. It was just facing the wrong way, and even with that, still almost getting there. But LJ going to be able to tie up this game, and now that we focus on our own match to go 2-1 in Swiss, SSG in front of us look fierce.
JKnaps from the ceiling, going to be a little fake from Hoxer. Problem is Hoxer doesn't have much momentum to build with, so he's going to have to contend with Calm, who pitches that one to space. Actually gets another rebound. I think actually taking that off of Nolly, unfortunately, as the deflection comes through, and now Chicago has maybe a fast break, not going to hit it anywhere close to target.
Yeah, I was a bit worried with how JKnaps took that challenge, and it was looking a bit difficult for him. As we can see, SSG just forcing the issue, trying to get as many touches on the ball. LG and Chicago will be able to get the dunk on us and forcing it through 2-1 for SSG.
It's a tough one just because it's so many deflections and over the tops and 50s and still rebounding off the ceiling. It's really hard for us to get on now. SSG doing a really good job of just being able to get on top of the ball. It's not necessarily moving them forward, but more importantly, it's not moving them back either. They're just able to stay on offense for, it seems like, about 20 solid seconds. We get our first real offense, and SSG quick enough to be able to get the save.
Nolly, though, hits the smoke screen. Hawks are barely there in time. Nolly, good. Oh, wow, what a pinch from Hoxer to be able to force this back. Chicago even pre-jumping it as well. Calm looking to make an issue. Nolly going for the bump, looking for another on Hoxer, but won't be able to get through it. So SSG holding on with 2:45.
JKnaps beating out the challenge, and even then it's still interfered with because there was a bump. Now Chicago lurking upfield, almost got the redirect. Instead it's Calm. Back down the other way. JKnaps in tow. Win over the top. LJ thinking about it, will act upon it, but only gets so much on this. The attack for OG still on, but we're just missing that final touch. We're barely missing out on every single one of these rebounds.
Yeah, we're sending our first man to go hunt for some demos, but there's none to be found. As SSG, they're playing a bit awkward in rotation, but it's somehow working for them. They send their first man so deep to try and hunt for these demos as well.
Chicago, with some help of a Hoxer bump, is going to do something forward, but then sent back now into LJ. From a corner, another boost steal, and that's honestly the thing that I'm noticing the most. SSG not only going for all these bumps, but being incredibly careful to jump in the front of the play, and if they don't have the ball, they're going to steal away the boost, and hopefully that builds for them.
High. Okay, up high, Calm. Oh, he's going to play it slow, trying to force a decent 50. JKnaps going to keep it in possession. JKnaps will get beat by Hoxer. Hoxer is going to get beat by Chicago. Calm on the rotate back. LJ all the way with Chicago just playing it very leisurely over to JKnaps. This is looking a bit weird for OG as they try and manage things down on the defensive half.
Again, just trying to manage these resources. As you can see in the overlay, JKnaps are the only one with boost, so OG trying to buy some time to let everyone reset on the rotation, and more importantly, get some resources, but it's so difficult. SSG playing controlled, and that's why we're really struggling to get out of our half, much less able to get forward on some offense. You had some venom on certain shots, but at other times they're kind of just leaping on in. LJ on the counter looking for a double. Fortunately, does not have it.
And already OG a bit slow in transition, but it might not matter. Hawkser gets there back in time. A minute remaining. We stayed at the scoreline for quite a bit now. OG needs to find their mark and prevent any more possession from SSG. We'll transition back. Calm gonna get beat by LJ in the cut. JNABS looks to keep it going. 46 remaining. Nolly gonna put it off the corner. LJ bangs it back. And OG need to maintain this pressure.
That's two players. They're a little bit out of it. Oh, Nolly with a laser. What a find on the pass, 2-2.
Oh, we're talking about just how this was getting out of OG's hands, but immediately a pass over to Nolly. Perfect positioning. Hawkser just can't get it.
It's so well done from the side of OG, and that's really what we're talking about. SSG playing so well, but all it takes is them to get a little too greedy. They're cheating up, two players get beat, and how everyone gets beat from an angle. Nolly's trying to serve it up, but just I don't think had an option at the end of the day.
Cobb gonna play this slow pass over to Nolly. Bang as well, but what a save from Chicago. Not gonna be able to get another. OG secure a lead.
Fine, I'll do it myself. Com sets up the assist, gets a demo, and says, fine, I guess I'll get the finish as well. Nolly lurking across for a bump just in case it was needed, but no, it's OG with 2 unanswered. Is that enough in game 1 with 23 to go?
Yeah, we have to maintain. We've dropped so many leads in the past, and now we need to do so to take a lead in this series. Jana, no, please, please, please. All right, thank you.
And OG was screaming for a timeout in the quick chat. For some reason, the admin just got around. I'm glad that did not go in, as apparently OG is lagging, so
we will be underway. I think they're just about ready to go, but I definitely agree. Oh, all right, I'm pausing in 3, 2, 1, and we have kickoff.
And again, this is with the new revamped server, and hopefully it is not going to be laggy whatsoever. Seems like it's fine for JNAPS. He's going to take it all the way across to bait out an LJ on a 50. High roller, Calm gets enough of a 50. JNAPS with another extension. Some nice time wasting as Nolly has all the boosts, and he's not going to use any of it, just to get a fake instead. Hawkser, one last chance. The drop down, JNAPS, a brilliant save, and yet it's still on up. Nolly, back post, just trying to lob it, looking for the dunk on down. He wins it into the midfield. Somehow this ball is still afloat.
Yep, still dangerous. SSG are fighting for this. JNAPS gets the 0 second, and that's game 1.
The consummate pat statter, the stat patter from JNAPS is... My words are tangled, but the OG playstyle is not. Everyone exactly where they need to be. And that is going to be a game 1 victory after just about 47 minutes, it felt like.
Well, it is worth it in the end. Whatever gets us ahead. Again, this is our second time now that we've been able to take a lead in this series. This has huge implications. So remember, to everyone here that may be paying attention, also shout out to Chief Beef, who's also the SSG.
Because the mistakes don't just matter for these individual series, it matters in the long run, how you're going to even fare in the future rounds of Swiss. But for right now, let's focus on this year's series and this year's game right off the kickoff. Cobb is just enough for a 1-0.
Oh, brilliant way to kick it off. And you mentioned that the nerves might be kicking in. Absolutely not between these two. These team OG are so ready to take on not only just Swiss, but this series.
And this is such a ripe way to be able to start things off, because you have that opening aerial, and typically you have someone kind of like pre-jump in, just kind of wait for that touch away, but instead you have Calm just going for the jugular, nearly getting a second one within the first 15 seconds.
Yeah, and I like JNAPS waiting out for that touch. This one's a bit weird, though. Calm will be back, gonna play it off the ceiling. Beats LG, gonna go for the second touch. Calm, where have you been? 2 points, Elbow.
SSG put up a hand, the double tap off the ceiling, and then just torching LJ to that one. Hawks in Chicago, so much faith. They didn't think they had to get back to goal, but they have to think again.
So Calm took those 2 points. I was like, nah, I'll take 2 goals instead. OG already coming out fiercely now that they have a proper server, and I think it's showing here. Nolly hopefully will insert himself even more so in this game, and you can already see SG, they're playing a bit more patient, playing a bit more passive, trying to bait OG, and hopefully look for more passing plays, but instead they might just give possession.
Yeah, that was a rough one. You can see the last second from LJ kind of driving in front, making sure JNAPS doesn't have a piece of that one. Nolly, a musty attempt. JNAPS a little bit of a double, no harm, no foul, as they're still able to recover. SSG can barely even get out of their half, as LJ had to quick 180 to prevent Calm from netting a hat trick in the first minute.
Yeah, OG forcing so many 50s in the orange half. Like you mentioned, they can barely even move in their own half. Chicago's going to put one on. Nolly's going to get the save. Hawkser is going to carry it, not go for the immediate rebound. Just look for a nice touch. LJ in the waiting. Look how aggressive SSG are playing right now. They're trying to change things up in the offensive end.
I think right now that's the main thing that they're trying to focus on. The last thing you want to do when it's 2-0 is actually to think that you have to go pure offense, because you really don't. You have a huge amount of time to work with, and so you want to be able to make sure you're pressing forward and getting your shots off. But the last thing you want to do is say, oh, it's 2-0, got to give up everything, and then just give up an easy third.
Yep, so Comp will take it after Nolly. Nolly, I liked how he was going for that demo. This is going to be a drop down, easy handle from SSG, but now they're scrambling to try and transition. OG just trying to stop the pace. It looks a bit weird, but now a double commit from SSG might open things up. JNaps will control and will be a lob in. JNaps secures the 3-0.
SSG, I'm open for some on-par kind of coaching services, and I just told you to not dive on in, but I'm not going to be criticizing for that too much. They're down by 2, now they're down by 3. Could not have been an easier finish for the knapsack, and now SSG really in an awkward position. They've really let this one get out of hand, and we're just going to keep on cruising with these consistent goals.
Yeah, with LJ, such an important piece of SSG, but hasn't really shown up too much in this series just yet, which is to our benefit, of course. But with OG slowly but surely cooking more and more as the Swiss goes on, is this the reverse Swiss that we saw from a couple weeks ago, where we saw OG cook everyone in their path?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have to do a true reverse sweep, as we are able to go 1-1. But at the very least, yeah, it is a little bit rough to be able to kind of stagger a little bit in the beginning and then slowly regain everything. It's still somewhat of a sweep, but just the spaceman sweep. JNaps trying to secure it even further, but LJ so well done to be able to get up to that.
And LG looking for another 50. Hawkser's going to force it through. Half a game remaining. SSG will be able to get themselves on the board thanks to Chicago.
Hard to tie him down at the end of the day. These guys are putting up a fight against G2s. They can play with anyone. Nice little pass from Hawks, a little bit of layoff right into Chicago's path.
So now we have to sort of lock in. A 2-goal lead isn't a ton when you have 2 minutes remaining. SSG has come back before and just came off a match against G2. So you can imagine how much momentum they have coming off that series. Yes, they lost, but they still learned a thing or two.
I think that knowledge is a lot, to be able to know the play styles and kind of how you adapt to them and how you need to play against certain teams. It's not really something to be understated. That's why I think we were starting to see actually a couple more teams. I believe LG and M80 both utilize a coach, but also an analyst, specifically just to be able to kind of look through everything. So one manages everything in the games, manages the players' expectations, on-the-fly adjustments, and the analyst kind of, broadly speaking, adjusts the overall mentality and philosophy bringing into the games.
Yep, shout out to JC Hammer for doing that work on M80. Great guy. And very smart with the game as well. So OG will have to lock in turn. Good 50. JNaps can't force it through. Well saved, but Calm looking for the second touch. Still in the corner. Double commit from SSG forces the issue in the defensive half. And it's going to be a transition. Nolly is there, of course. Last minute approaching. OG barely hanging on right now.
SSG a little out of sorts there. They had an open touch on the sidewall. They went for a pass, but there was no one even in the zip code, so I'm not really sure what happened there. Sometimes you make a pass with the expectation someone will be there instead of the confirmation. Demo's in the backfield. A little awkward, but ultimately anything weird on the SSG side of the field is only going to benefit OG. Maybe the same as a goal, but LJ steps in the way. A little bit of a half rotation, and Calm did not expect it.
Yeah, Calm wasn't really expecting it. Had no boost to play with, but still JNaps looking to score. It's going to be awkward for SSG. Space Station Gaming struggling to get out of their half here against OG, and we're doing such a good job at just managing any transitional pressure they're bringing.
Calm sending out another one. Hawkser, they do not have that one. It's up to JNaps. He's continuing to lob it forward. Look at Nolly just playing that midfielder role, knowing that they don't have to dive on him because it's going to come right back to him anyway.
JNaps, one more potentially to go if he can solo. He'll get the 50. Hawkser, no boost to play with. Calm. OG playing such a game, playing to their strengths. We'll be able to go up 2-0 in this series. SSG looking for one to go, but no, it will touch the ground. OG goes up 2-0.
And honestly, we will say that this is a sweep potential But that's really all it is for right now. There's no confirmations, there's no guarantees in RLCS, but it really comes from a hot start from Calm. 2 goals immediately right off the rip. JNAP's adding in yet another one on the breakaway, and from there, I think it was really tough. SSG, if anything, I'd have to assume they're going to have to be focusing potentially a sweep on the table for OG.
Also, what is it? Gen G might actually beat G2, which would also be crazy. Anyway, back to our own series and our own 2-0 game. That is going to be straight over 1. Hawks will be able to get the flip to beat JNAPs to the ball, and we are firmly underway now with this potential series point.
Ali flick up and over. Deflection from LJ Calm. A little bit of a light touch to be able to bait in 1. And I do like how creative Calm is with those like little adjustments. You can see him get the nice little tap to avoid the first challenge, and because of that, the attack is still going.
You can always tell when Calm really is on the ball because he'll never be pedestrian when it comes to his touches. He'll always find a creative output to try and just force an awkward interaction to play off of, and I think that's what just makes him so unique. LJ, though, unique in his own right, opening things up for SSG.
Former auction man, took a while to get going, but when he does, he pulls up stuff like this, so easily done, just passes it into his path, and he does the rest. Fortunately, not going to get the first goal this game on the side of OG, but plenty of time to work with.
So OG will look to regain. This might do it here, but no, it'll go just a bit wide. Good bump from Calm, but nothing will come from it. Chicago look for a demo in turn, and OG continuing that kickoff excellence, just wasn't able to score this time around.
A pre-jump Calm from the pass from
Wow.
JNAPs on the goal line. Calm gets it again. OG again always goes for the out-of-the-box play.
And I threw it to you thinking there's no shot, there's no way, why would Calm go for this? But somehow was able to make it work. Calm has arrived.
It's just so satisfying to witness from OG. Honestly, it's the only team really I see do those plays consistently. The pre-jumps you might think are just cocky, maybe try to throw something, make it overcomplicated, but it works so well. Same with just traditional passing. Nolly back to Calm. It's just too far away for 2-1.
Yep, but JNAPs looking to recollect, going all the way back for boost, including Nolly. So transition in, they are way ahead of it. Nolly going all the way across, looking for a demo. Hawks will collect, going to be able to bump Calm for good measure. Now JNAPs will look to solo. Calm already respawned with it and will go back to the blue half.
Really awkward one as we were trying to build up that next attack, but unfortunately not able to work on the way out. Calm, if not for a pinch, could have had a breakaway. Might still have something as he's trying to harass the defense. JNAPs, deflection, roller, near post, double commit on the 50 as LJ trying to build up slowly with minimal boost, and they're finding that task quite difficult. They just have to throw it away for JNAPs to clear right on back.
Kind of like the visual fake, though, from Chicago, and I think that's something that's not as heavily used. It's almost like a screen, but just like here, JNAPs able to put OG in the knapsack.
Honestly, I was going to take a sip of my drink because I was not ready for this immediate strike. I thought it was going to be too far, but of course, why ever doubt JNAPs, one of the most consummate strikers in NA for several years now, proving it yet again. That's the lead. The death timer has started right now for SSG.
So 3 minutes, and with it, a potential series on the line. A musty from Calm, looking to solidify this lead with an insurance. LJ gonna be able to get over 1. I don't think there's anyone back. This might be a bit weird, but SSG can't respond in time.
I feel that on Chicago. I think he probably had the putback if he went for it, but he didn't want to risk diving in, getting a miss, and then having an easy counter on a one-on-one. So at the end of the day, I feel like SSG is knowing just how fragile the series can be, and they gotta hope for their fans' sakes they clean it up a little bit, as that 50 actually gets nothing. Nolly has the entirety of this possession as he flicks over 1. Calm trying to follow, not finding the same luck.
Yeah, I like the idea from Chicago, but the first touch just went awry. So now Calm, the defensive half again. SSG just can't maintain possession at all, and at this point, with how much OG really tying down this boost as well in their own half, it's going to prove more difficult as time goes on, as proven here. JNAPs with a dime from the midfield.
I love the vision on this one. Nolly trying to play the high read. There's nothing that comes in, so JNAP says, hey, looking like you're not protecting that goal. Chicago to the boost. LJ moving up, assuming a double. And that's what happens when you assume you're going to get taken advantage of on the counterattack. OG in the optimal position right now. A lead now extended to 2. Hoxer trying to shrink it, and yet going to be slapped to the side.
Playing so aggressively in the defensive half. Same with Nolly. That could have been disastrous if he did miss that attempt for a 50. Comp go for the ceiling as well. Nolly all the way back. So SSG trying to regress. 3-1 scoreline. JNAP's pre-jumping back to Nolly. Maybe look for a shot. It's going to be saved.
And really, Calm, I don't know what they told him, but he's just cooking lately. He's just going for all the mechanical plays. He's feeling himself. He's confident. And that's really what I've been waiting for with Calm. You know what he's capable of. And you mentioned earlier, you're so good at being creative and getting those kind of touches that no one anticipates. Kind of like this one. Nolly, hello? SSG caught sleeping.
Okay, I Sleep Station Gaming. Hello, are you awake in there, SSG?
I don't even care. If they're sleeping at their desk, then I guess it just is on SSG to clean it up and wake them up and shake them, because they only have 80 seconds remaining, not only to get back in this game, but be able to get back in this series. This is going to be it if they don't do something. LJ answers the call to bring it back within 2.
It's a good start. If it was going to be anyone, it was going to be LJ. Full tank of boost. JNAPS wasn't sure who was going to collect and wasn't even expecting that much sauce in the flip reset. The SSG given 1. Minute 13 left for OG to tie up this series.
Awkward kickoff, but not going to harm Nolly. Should have that clear, and indeed will slap that one deep. Straight down, Chicago. That is not the most useful touch. Has to make LJ chase it on, and he's really only going to get 1, maybe a 50, but Nolly again sends over. Chicago mistouch yet again in the mid.
Yeah, I don't think that mistouch is going to bode well for SSG, especially with how much time it's going to waste. So a pass over to LJ, cut off by JNAPS. Chicago's going to collect again. Oh, never mind. Calm is going to be there along with Nolly. Chicago playing it slow, a bit over LJ's head. Too much sauce on it. So with Hoxer going to collect. SSG looking a little awkward, and they're running out of time.
Another clear. That one's going to be just off target as JNAPS is lurking. LJ flicks it over, but no one's there. Nolly, back post, going to be another miss. He might just ignore it and go for the boost. Indeed, he bails off of it. Problem is, LJ still has it, flicks away. JNAPS again covering. It's all in OG's hands. They just got to milk this clock. Pass inside, read by a day from Calm.
Yep, had way too much time to read it, though. It was a good attempt from SSG, and I fully believe they're going to do all right in this Swiss, but for now, OG continues their road to the major, even collects one to go. LJ, that is nasty.
That is pretty nasty, and yet it's still not enough. GG's only from OG. BM from SSG. But no, I just say it's a lot of frustration there. It's all smiles over here. OG collecting another dub. We're at 2-1, looking to qual for day 2 in round 4.
Oh, now that really opens things up. Oh, shout out to Chief Beef. Love you, dude. Love you, dude. Love Chief Beef. Now that